Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. EJ is horrified to discover Arnold in the DeMera living room, still in his silk robe, eating a croissant and some strawberries. EJ tells him to leave his residence and get dressed. EJ threatens to send Arnold back to prison, but since he is the DA, Arnold is unconcerned. EJ tells Arnold that when she believed he was Rafe, he slept with Sammy and assaulted her. It's a gray area, according to Arnold. EJ goes on to say that he killed Faye Walker, for which he will undoubtedly face legal action. I'll just offer to testify against EJ again, Arnold offers. He then tells EJ that in order for EJ to also pay for Arnold's misdeeds, he and Stefano had arranged for his plastic surgery to replace him with Rafe. Arnold refuses to leave even when EJ offers him a sizable sum of money. Jada and Rafe decided to get married in the Hernandez kitchen on Rafe's birthday, which is at the end of January. Paulina stops by to scold Rafe for becoming involved in the Hattie probe after Jada departs for work. Paulina offers him a position as rat czar after they argue over his dismissal in favor of keeping Jada as commissioner. Her administration depends on getting rid of rats, and it pays well. Rafe believes she is merely giving him the position to avoid getting in Jada's way. He will not allow a professional rivalry to separate him from Jada since he loves her. Paulina's job can be shoved, and her rats can be handled by someone else. Uncomfortable, Leo checks his phone while seated on his bed at the Salem Inn. Leo reads Lady Whistleblower's most recent column in his Salem Inn room, where they make fun of him for not knowing who they are. Doug stops by to inquire about the necklace's status. Leo claims to have located a buyer who will sell it to him. Doug regrets what he did to Julie, but he is grateful. But he needs the cash to settle debts. Leo lets out a gasp. For the program, this would be a fantastic concept. After making notes, he advises Doug to settle his debt and move on. Marlena and Brady leave the townhouse, and Sophia arrives. In order to get this over with, she wants to travel with Tate. Sophia hides as a terrified Tate answers the door when Holly knocks. As Holly offers Tate the lemon square she cooked for him for the flight, she can be heard in the hallway. Sophia flinches, rolls her eyes, and appears to be torn. Due to his trip to see his grandparents, Tate is unable to use the concert tickets that Holly gave him, so he returns them. Holly departs after they declare their love for one another. Sorry to be an inconvenience, says Sophia curtly as she emerges. She jokes that whereas Holly gets to have an abortion, she gets to say I love you. Doug watches Holly on the square as she checks her phone. Holly hangs up with someone in the square who is too busy to get together this evening. The concert tickets are then offered to Doug when she runs into him. She does not wish for them to be wasted. He recommends that they go together. He maintains that he wasn't asking her out on a date when she brings up her boyfriend. Simply said, he doesn't know anyone in town, and there are 2 tickets. He advises her to consult her partner first. Tate apologizes to Sophia for overhearing him with Holly, but he misses her call. Tate gets his suitcase after they straighten out their cover stories. Sophia consoles herself by telling herself that Holly won't be enjoying herself either. She questions whether Holly was able to get someone to accept the tickets. Holly intends to dash by Tate's house on the square. In order to inform Doug of his comments, she obtains his phone number. At the police station, Jada faces Belle with her arms crossed. Jada finds out at the police station that Belle was able to have Hattie freed from detention because EJ attempted to question her without legal representation. Jada vents about EJ's recent case failures as they head to her workplace for coffee. Additionally, he chooses not to prosecute the guilty party anytime he has a conflict of interest. When EJ fails to apprehend the criminals she apprehends, it damages her reputation. She would prefer to collaborate with Belle. Jada thinks they'd form a terrific team and gushed about Belle's recent victories, but Belle objects to being DA. She is sure she can persuade Paulina to accept the proposal. Due to Sean's return to the force and her past relationship with EJ, whose position she doesn't want to take away, Belle is hesitant. Furthermore, she has no idea how long she will be in the city. As a transitional measure, Jada believes Paulina would consent to hire her for a predetermined period of time. Belle is asked to think about it. In the square, Leo greets Doug and gives him an envelope. Although the jewelry was sold, the proceeds were less than what he had anticipated. However, it's the best Leo could do, and he refuses to accept his customary 10% charge. Doug expresses disappointment and says he will need to find a way to obtain the remaining funds. Leo looks sheepishly at Doug, who is holding an envelope, on the bench in Horton Square. While Arnold relaxes in the living area behind closed doors, EJ answers the demeridor to Rafe while Paulina meets with Jada regarding EJ. Sophia, who consumes the lemon squares, is asked by a worried Tate at the townhouse if she truly approves of this. They must have a child because Sophia is aware that Michael does not want one. Holly is shocked when they open the door as they leave. Fans of Days of Our Lives get to celebrate another birthday, in a way, just a few days after Christmas. Today marks 25 years since J. Kenneth Johnson made his film debut as a teenage Philip Kyriakis in one of the most dramatic examples of soap opera rapid aging syndrome ever. You see, just 4 years prior, in 1995, Philip had been born on screen. The 4-year-old then had a lot of teenage issues to cope with when he became 16 in 1999. Whatever you think of Philip, his life has never been boring. Johnson transformed Philip from a bad boy to a bad guy over the years, but he never allowed the tormented Kyriakis to lose his heart, no matter how horrible his deeds were. However, we must acknowledge that we have occasionally had more difficulty locating it than others. It would be an understatement to suggest that he is complex. What else can we anticipate from the child that Vivian Alamain carried to term and gave birth to as the child of Kate Roberts and Victor Kyriakis? Although he doesn't precisely have a heroic streak, he does have a strong sense of independence. Chloe is facing Brady at basic black with Philip's hands on her shoulders. Our Lives Days. We were certain that Johnson needed to reconcile with Chloe, his first love, when he brought Philip back for his most recent stint. That sure took a bad turn, boy. Even still, it's difficult to avoid feeling some pity for the Kyriakis scion. For him, things simply never seem to work out. Before losing a limb and requiring a face transplant, he enlisted in the military and pursued criminals like Tony DiMera. He had no children, despite having 4 children, or so he believed at one point. Sean owned Claire, Daniel owned Parker, Melanie miscarried, and Tyler. Well, Tyler has spent his whole life in foster care. However, we must acknowledge that Philip is mostly to blame for his tragedy. Philip humiliated and left Chloe after naked pictures of her surfaced, so she moved on with Brady all those years ago. He attempted to win Belle back by blackmailing his ex back into bed after losing her to Sean. After that, Philip and John got into a financial dispute that ended with Philip putting narcotics aboard the ships owned by Basic Black. His inclinations to act immorally frequently obstruct his attempts to act morally. As they converse in her Brady pub room, Kate puts her hand on Philip's shoulder. Our Lives Days. To put it succinctly, Philip is complicated, which contributes to his frequent moves in and out of Salem over the years. He needs to occasionally take a break, start over, and return to Salem to give it another shot before everything goes terribly wrong. That's why he returned, as Jean-Paul Lavoisier, a calmer, kinder guy, more in line with his disturbed but usually well-meaning origins, following his last trip out to seek psychiatric help.